Hello and welcome back to all you brand new Fix-It employees to my How to Satisfactory series, where I'll be going through orientation for you. We're going to be showing you the ropes on what you need to do in this game, because if you're brand new to the game and you don't know what to do, the game doesn't really guide you too much, and it's just kind of one of those games that just sends you out on your own to figure things out. And it can be a bit overwhelming for the newest players. So that's what this series is all about. I'll be showing you everything from landing on the planet for the very first time to building an awesome factory. In the last episode, we did this right here. We built our ironworks. This is building everything we need out of iron, from screws and plates over here to iron rods. We've got everything coming in as far as the basics go. And I think this is a pretty good, compact, efficient factory right here that I've got. Hopefully it wasn't too advanced for the new players, because after I did it, I got to thinking about it, and I was like, yeah, maybe I did too much. But hopefully you guys were able to follow this, and if you were and you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments below. We're going to kind of expand upon this a little bit today. We're going to add copper into the line, as well as we're going to fix up a few things. And that's what today's episode is going to be all about. So to kick off this episode, the first thing we're going to do is add in copper to the mix here, to our starter factory. That way we can get copper wire and other things that's going to need copper being made later on. And I'm not going to really go over much of the basics here. By this point, hopefully you guys have learned most things. I'll cover a couple things though. And I do want to give a quick reminder, make sure that your fuel generators are filled up with biomass, so that way none of these things will stop working and we're getting the things done as we're progressing towards our factory here. Alright, so if we head down here to the very end where our iron is coming in, we're going to grab one of these foundations here. If it's not a 4-meter foundation, go ahead and make it one. If you remember to do that, just hit E and that will do that. So you can go from 1 to 4 to 2 meters, different ones like that, but we want the 4-meter right here. So we'll click on that, and then once we have one kind of right here on the edge added on, we're going to make that about 3 high. There we go. All right, and then we're going to come down 3 spaces in the middle and come down here, and we're going to add another one, and we're going to make that 3 high. There we go. Put that last one up there. All right. Now, click on one of the foundations, copy that, and then we're going to make that a 1-meter foundation, and we're going to just basically put this across through each side here like that. There we go. That looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. Then we're going to come down here right beyond this point. Again, we're going to add the foundation down here like so, and we are going to bring that about 4 down right through here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, let's go into our quick build menu here, and we will go into foundations. Now, if you don't already have the ramp as one of your quick slots, you can save it as one if you want, and we're just going to essentially add a ramp coming down from the top of that down to here, and that way we can get up on top like so. Alright, now copy one of our 1-meter foundations, and we want to make sure our zoop mode is on. So remember, your build mode is default when you first start the game. So to get the zoop mode, you just hit R until it says zoop right under where it says whatever you're currently building. And we're going to click on that, and we are going to just expand that out by 10 foundations, which is the maximum, all the way down to the end there. Just do that, and all the way down, all the way across through here. There we go. Alright, now that should be finishing up there. And now we should have an 11 by 5 foundation here to add our copper into the mix. Now let's head all the way down here to the end. Alright, so once you're down here on the end of our platform we just made, you're going to find the middle square, the 3rd square over from either side right here. And we're going to copy that. And with zoop mode on, we're just going to push that all the way out. About 6 squares should do it, and it should be going right into the side of that cliff right there, and that's exactly what we want. Now we're going to turn around, and we're going to add a splitter here, and make sure that it's turned this way, so either side we got the input coming in, because we're going to bring the copper line right down the middle down through here, and it's going to come into this splitter, and we're going to split it into 2 different directions here. So I'm just going to put it right in the middle of that foundation, and then we're going to add a smelter over here on the foundation right in front of this one, so right here. And I'm going to put it right there on the edge. Now make sure that your input is facing the right way. So you don't want to have the output coming this way, because we're going to be putting the copper into the smelters. So there we go. And then come over here to the other side, do the same thing. Right there, right on the edge. Very good. All right. And we're going to add our conveyor belts. Now again, there's two different ways you can do this. You could just do it like that. If that's how you like to do it, that's fine. I don't like that, so I'm going to add mine into a 90-degree angle, which should be right there. And then it should go right into that. Same thing on the other side here. We'll just put this right there on that line and then turn into the smelter. There we go. Now we're going to add our belt coming off this way. So we're going to drag that down from the splitter all the way down here to the edge. We'll say right, not exactly on the line, but maybe like one, even two other more will go. Anywhere in this general direction will fine. There's a couple of options here that you have. I'm going to use a vertical lift, but you could also just do it this way. You could bring it down as far as it will go right there. Click once and then raise it up like that. That's certainly an option, but we're going to go ahead and use our conveyor lift now. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that on the end of this conveyor belt like so. Alright, and then with your conveyor belt right there, we can use our scroll wheel to turn the top of it like so. Turn around, and we're going to face it so the input is coming this way. Now what we will have is the belt coming in through here, in this way, out down that way, into the splitter, into the two smelters. So let's head up here now, and we're just going to take out the conveyor belt we already have built here. So just delete that. You can delete as much of this as you want, but eventually we're going to clear out pretty much everything we've got right here. You can even feel free to take out the copper that we've already got being made right there as well. If you want to do that, that's an option as well. Alright, so now we're going to add our conveyor lift from the miner down through here. Now again, you have a couple of different options you could do here. You could totally just drag it in there. I am just going to do half of basically what we're going to do. I'm going to bring it out right here and make sure I hold control so it's straight, and then raise it up, and then there we go. Alright, and then I'm going to drag that into that, and eventually at some point I will come back up here and make this as straight as I can actually. So alright, so now we should have the copper coming in, and it's going to be coming right through the vertical lift, down this line, into the splitter, into our smelters. So let's go ahead and make sure our smelters are set to copper ingots. Now it's going to take 30 copper ore to make 30 copper ingots. And since we have 60 coming in, that's going to split this, so that will be about pretty efficient right now at the moment. So we'll set both of these to making copper. Since I have some copper on me, I'm actually just going to go ahead and throw that copper ore in there. There we go. Alright. And now that is set for that. So now let's do the output of the smelters into the next section here. What we're going to do is we are going to add some constructors in here. So let's go right here. Let's hit 8 to bring up our constructors. And we're going to want the output to be right here in the middle, but we're going to skip this square right here. We're going to come over here to the next square, the next foundation, and then we're going to add that right in there like so. And we're going to turn around, and we're going to add another one the other way with our output facing towards the middle. It's essentially the same way we did the ironworks down below. We're keeping with a theme here. And we're going to put 4 of these all together, so 2 on each side like so. And then come over here and turn that around. There we go. Alright, that's pretty good. Now let's go ahead and we're going to turn around over here to the back, and I'm going to put a splitter into each of these right here. So we're going to have it, essentially the line will come down here, come around, turn, go this way, and right here. So we're going to find where the output, or the input I should say, is right there. Easy to do by using that blue line right there. Once you have it, place it right in there like so. Come around and do one on the other one too. Now normally you could also just go ahead and put a conveyor belt from that one straight into here. You don't necessarily have to use a splitter. I'm just thinking ahead of myself right now, and I might want to do more later on because we can eventually like overclock things and make more. So I'm going to just go ahead and put a splitter in here now. And I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side over here. And there we go. Now let's go ahead and add our conveyor belts in here. So we have 3 for that. Bring these in to right about... You can do it any way you want. I'm going to go to like 1 out essentially. Right there. And we're going to turn it so it goes during the middle. And then easy way, if you remember, is right there's your line. Just go back 2. And right into that. And then we'll connect these 2 together. And don't forget to put your belt into the actual constructor as well. Come over here to the other side. Do the exact same thing over here. Bring this out. Bring this around over here. Right there. Into there. Connect these 2. And connect our constructors to the splitters. There we go. Alright, so now that you've got the conveyor belts in there, it'll be easy as pie. We're just going to come over here to our constructors. We're going to have all of these constructors making wire. And you will notice the first thing here is that it takes 15 copper ingots to make 30 wire. So altogether we'll be making 60 wire on each side here, only using 30 copper ingots. Alright, so go ahead, program each of these to use... to make wire, I should say. There we go. Alright, so now go ahead and copy another constructor. And we're going to come down here to the end and right down here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn this so it's facing that way. We're going to put it right in the middle, about 1 foundation away from the edge down here on this side. So right there seems just good. Alright, there we go. Alright. And we're going to program this constructor to be making cable. Now we're going to need 60 wire to make 30 cable per minute. Alright, and if you remember, each of these is making 30. So basically 2 of these machines are going to be feeding our machine right down here. And 2 of these machines are going to be making 60 wire for whatever else we need it for. Now we're going to use our vertical conveyor once again here. And we're going to go ahead and add that in like that. Turn that around. And there we go. Alright, so what we're going to do is come right down here to the end. And we're going to take these 2 machines right here. The first 2 constructors are going to feed the cable constructor. So I am going to put a merger right here in the middle. And remember, we can just choose a splitter. Hit E to change it into a merger. There we go. Make sure your inputs are on both sides with the output coming toward us right here. And with the blue lines lined up, we're good. Add conveyor belts to connect to that. If your conveyor belt does not connect into your merger right here, then you know you have it turned the right way, or the wrong way, I should say. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put a conveyor lift right here on the end of this this merger, right? We're going to turn that so it's going that way. And then we'll go back to conveyor belts, and we're going to connect these 2 right here. And there we have it. So that is now feeding that machine right there. Alright, now one more thing we're going to do here. Go ahead and grab another merger, bring it up here to the middle of these next 2 machines, and there we go, and connect these 2 up like so. Alright, okay, now next drop down here below where our smelters are for our iron, right down here underneath of the platform for our copper. And we're going to copy one of these 1 meter foundations, and we're going to put it right at the very top of the second 4 meter foundation right there. So if you go too high, you'll see it kind of wants to go on top of it, or maybe right there, which is not the right place. But we want it to be right even with the top of this second one. So as you can see, kind of right there. All right, click once, drag across with zoop. There we go. Now we have a small little platform here, but we're going to take the middle piece right here, and we're going to expand that out all the way down as far as you can. Now with that lower platform done, we're going to come up here back to where our constructors are for our copper. Go right here in front of this splitter and then remove this foundation right in front of there, like so. Grab a vertical lift, connect it to the merger, bring it down, and then turn it so it's facing this direction. There we go. And then you should plop down here, and then grab a conveyor belt from the vertical lift. And we are going to bring this all the way down here to the very end, right there, and make sure you see the blue line to tell you it's straight, and connect it right there to the edge. Just like that. There we go. Perfect. Alright, so our next step is obviously going to be adding power to our constructors. That way we can start making things with copper and getting that added into everything. So we're going to come right down here to the very end where our iron miners are. And right down here, if you follow my directions in the previous episode, you should have a power pole right underneath of us. Go ahead, copy that power pole and put it right there on that edge. Now, using your hotbar, select the power line, select this one, select the other one down below us. There we go. Now that puts a line straight up, which is right up against this foundation, and you really can't see it unless you're looking. Alright, now we're going to select this, and we're going to connect a line to there. And we're going to bring this all the way down here to where our splitters are, right here on the edge. And go right in the middle of these two splitters here on the edge. There we go. And then connect it one more to that one. One more to this one. Very good. And one more to this pole, and we're going to come down here to this edge down here, like so. Now at this point, you should have a power pole somewhere around there that goes to your copper miner. Go ahead and connect that to that, like so. Now we no longer need this wire coming up to it, or the other wire really, because this is going to take all the power from this direction. Alright, now connect a line from here to right here where this is, and then another one to the other side right here. There we go. And then one more down to this edge right here. Go back to the ones in the middle here, connect that one to this smelter, connect the other one on the right there next to it over to the other smelter. Great, now we're smelting that copper. Alright, and then come down here to this edge. And then we're going to bring this one. We're going to repeat our process. We're going to go back up this time to the other side. Right here in the middle between the splitters. Connect. And connect. There we go. Grab another line. Bring it all the way down to this side. Except here we're going to stop right here where this line is. Coming off of our constructor for our cable. And just put that right there. And then bring that over to that. Alright, now everything should be powered up pretty good. Now we should have wire being made. Yes, you can see the wire going underneath of us. You can see the wire going to the cable machine. And everything is being made. And everything should be fairly efficient. Except this cable or the wire and stuff, or the cable really, isn't going anywhere. So that's going to be our next step, is getting things down to our storage containers. But before we do that, we're going to do a little bit more work down here. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is add an entire new hub area, a place for our shuttle and everything else. We're going to do it connected to our little starter factory here. So from down here where our storage containers are, grab one of these 4-meter foundations and bring it 3 spaces over. So 1, 2, 3, right there. Throw 2 more 4-meter foundations on top of that one, like that. Turn that 4-meter into a 1-meter by pressing E, and put one on top of that. Bring it over right there in front of us. If you have to jump up on top of this right here, do so, like that. Alright, and then bring it one over like that. And you can put another one right there if you want. And we're going to add one more on top of that, like there and there. Alright, now go into your ramps, and we're going to take a ramp, and we're going to bring that down like so. And we're going to build a double ramp up on top of this, like this. Alright, perfect. Now, you should have it looking pretty much like this right here. Go ahead, grab one of these 1 meter foundations, and we're going to make this 3 over, like so. And then bring it this up to here. All right, so now the center part right here should be 3 by 4. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, out like that. All right. All right, now come over here to this side right here and copy another one of these 1 meter foundations. Leave this spot right here blank, but go 1, 2, and then put 2 more on top of it like so. All right, and then what you want to do is put our ramps down to this side as well. So ramps, and then turn them using your scroll wheel. There we go. And one more. There we go. All right, so now we have ramps up on both sides, and we have this nice little middle area right here that's kind of concave down in here. All right, you come down here to the middle of this center section. Hit Q to bring up your build menu. Go to Special. You know what? We haven't deleted the hub yet, so we probably need to do that first. All right, just highlight your hub, delete the hub. Now your power should go out, and that's absolutely fine. Don't worry about that. You can also delete the MAM, and you can delete your workshop as well if you need to or want to. We don't have to do that right now, but you know, I'm going to go ahead and do it. All right, go ahead, bring in the hub now, right here. Now, we want to make sure that it's turned the right way. So, if we have it like this with that little platform on top, as you can see, like that. All right, and then you bring it all the way down here to the middle. Now, you see it right there where the yellow caution stripes are, and there's like a joint right there, like a support. We want to put that right on the middle of that foundations, right there where the foundations meet, right there. So you should have one on one side, one on the other, left and right. So see, this is not, this is. And then bring this back by 2. So if it's right there on the center, 1, 2. All right, and go ahead and click. All right. Now what we have is a nice little center area here, and our hub is right down in there. And we're going to grab these foundations, and we're going to put them down on top like this. And then we're just going to go around it, placing these foundations like so. Alright, now the reason I do that is because I like to have it kind of where I can just kind of step down in here and it looks like it's part of the building, and I really like it like this. So now you're going to see these exclamation points back up here on the hub. The best way to get rid of those, just hit E on them, and there we go. It's just basically going to tell you what they are again, excluding these guys right here. Alright, and there we go. Alright, so now we need to get the power going back again. So let's take and put a power pole on each side right here. So we'll put one right here on the edge. Another one down on this edge. Right there. Alright, and then we can connect these two guys together using a power line up to here. And then connect this side to this generator. Take this generator, connect it to that side. And then connect that down to there. Okay, now our hub is back and our power is good. Now we just need to add our biofuel back into here, into both of these guys, like so. And turn it back on. And we're powered our factory back up. And we have a nice little hub area up here now. Now, let's get the cable and the copper down here to this side. So drop below down here to where our hub area is, where our storage containers are. Copy one of these storage containers and put it on top of this one right here, like so. Again, make sure your input is facing the right way. So we do want it going that way. And put another one right there on top of that. There we go. Okay. Now, we got to run a line from here all the way down to there. So let's run down here to where our cable is. Alright, so if we take one of these 1 meter foundations right here and we bring it out right here, make sure zoop mode is on again, and then just bring this all the way down as far as you can. And this right here, we want this to meet right up against where the ramp is right there. And then bring it one more over to here, like that. So it's kind of like an L shape in a way. So it should be right there, right underneath of that, and then that way, and we should be good. All right, now awesome. So we've got mostly all of this done now. Come back down here to where your wire is, and we're going to grab a piece of conveyor belt, and we're going to turn it so it's going straight that way. And then just stretch this all the way down here as far as you can. If it turns red, then that means you can't take it any further. So it should be right around in here somewhere. All right, there we go. See, it's red, so that means we can't stretch this conveyor belt any further. I like to back it up until I can see the blue line right there. And I also have a cable right here that's kind of in the way, but that's okay. That's fine. All right, and that line tells me that that is straight. So I'm going to go ahead and add that like that. And bring this on down a little further, right down to the very middle of this foundation right there. You should have a line right there, most likely. All right, connect that to that, and then turn it this way. All right, that should be good right there. All right, now if we delete this foundation that's underneath of this right here next to the ramp, that will let us see down below us, and we can see where the hole is right there for that storage container. We're going to take a conveyor lift. We're going to make sure that the line is right there, but also we want it to line up with that. So you won't be able to see a line to there, but we can see it there. So go ahead and click that down. Now you can see the arrows underneath of this platform, so just turn it so that it's going that direction towards the storage container. There we go. All right, and then run this into that. Drop down underneath of here, and then put that into that. There we go. Now, all of that wire is going to come down this way. As you can see, it's going to go into that storage container, which we can easily access from below. We can look at this storage container and grab the rods out. We can look at the one above it and grab the wire out whenever we need it. All right, so that does the wire. Next is going to be the cable. All right, so hop back up here where our constructor for our cable is and grab one of these 1 meter foundations. We're going to go down here to the end, and we're just going to expand out by 1 right here and just bring this down to there. So expanding our platform out by 1 more. Awesome. Go ahead, grab conveyor belt, put it on the end of our constructor, and bring it over this way. Now, you should see a blue line that should correspond with where our wire is going. So they should see like an L shape right there with the blue wire. Instead of doing it there, bring it out 1 more this direction, right there. So it should be right on this, if you have these lines right here, it should be right on the line of this foundation. There. Perfect. Go ahead, put a conveyor lift on the end of this. And you can still see the arrows underneath of the platform right there, like you can see it through it. So make sure it's turned that direction, going down this way. And click again. There we go. That builds a conveyor lift going down and going this direction. Drop down underneath of here. Attach a conveyor belt to the end of our vertical lift. And bring it all the way down here. And you should see where we have the other one right there. Right there. So just move it over until you see a blue line right there. So right there, and then just bring it up. And right there should be perfect. Alright, now those two are matched up and we're evenly spaced in between here. Alright, just attach one more time a conveyor belt to the end of this. Bring it down until you see the foundations meet right here, but not right there. What we want to do is bring it 1 more over. So not here, but 1 more right there. And then turn it so it's straight, which should be right here on the edge of this. There we go. Copy one of these vertical lifts right here, put it right next to it, right there. That should work. And right there, and then drop down underneath of here where you can see underneath. Now you see the bottom of the conveyor lift. Turn it so it's facing us this way. Perfect. All right, so this next step is a little tricky, but what we're going to do is we're going to grab a conveyor belt, attach it to the storage container right here. Click it once to attach it, bring it down, and we want to bring it so that we're trying to make an L shape right there is what we're trying to do. So we bring it up like there. Yeah, so It should be like right where that ends, but you should be able to figure it out. So right there would be into the conveyor belt. Bring it back 2. Click once. Raise it until it's straight. So 2 spaces right there. And then straight into that conveyor lift. There we go. And that gives us a perfect 90-degree angle into that storage container. You could also, if you want, and you don't want to fool with that part, just connect them together and it sort of looks fine. But if you really like me and you're OCD about it, then that's how you do it. Okay, now we have cable coming in. We have wire coming in here. We can reach our cable right here just underneath of it. There we go. Perfect. Everything is coming in. We have a copper line. We have a brand new hub area, and I think we're good to go. All right, so going back up into a bird's eye view again, we're going to start over here from our copper. So our copper is being mined down here. We're going to bring it in over here, do the vertical lift up into the splitter. That splits the 60 per minute that our miner is making into 2 different lines of 30 each, which will be smelted in our smelters to make 30 ingots apiece. Those are going up here. They're split in between these 2 machines right here. And those machines are going to make our wire. So we are making 60 wire per side, 120 total. That is being split between here. So we're sending 60 per minute into our constructor to make cable. And we have 60 going down just for storage use right here, as you can see. And it's now going down here underneath this platform, like so. And we're going to send it down into these storage containers. Now I like to have the hub up here because this is where our storage containers are, and I like to have the storage and the hub and stuff, everything kind of built together somewhat. And that's why I like to do that. Makes it easy to access when we have to grab things for our terminal and stuff down here. All right, so we've completed a brand new hub area, and we've completed the copper with plenty of room to grow. And then that's going to go into our next episode, where we will cover the next sections that we're going to need, including adding assemblers to this down here to our armworks to make reinforced plates. All right, so that's going to do it for this episode, part 2 of my starter factory build here in How to Satisfactory. Hopefully this wasn't too complicated and you guys you found it easy enough to follow along with, and the directions were simple enough to follow. I try not to be too complicated, like I was saying in the beginning of the video, but yet I have a tendency to go a little bit overboard on a lot of things when I build stuff, and I'm trying not to do that. So if it happened to be, I don't know, too complicated, let me know in the comments down below. If you guys found it helpful, I also want to hear that as well. Also, let me know some of the things that you guys want to know about in the game, and I will try to include them in future How to Satisfactory videos. So yeah, that's gonna be pretty much it for this video. If you're not already a subscriber, I recommend doing so. Hit that button down below. It says subscribe. Also hit the bell to be notified. That way anytime I post a new video, whether it be Satisfactory, Planet Coaster, anything like that, because I love to build stuff and I love to play building games here on this channel. And hopefully you guys will tag along with me. To do so, like I said, just hit that subscribe button. I also want to give a huge shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much. I very much appreciate that. If you guys are interested in becoming a patron and helping out the channel, then yeah, the link should be in the video description right down below. And maybe check that out. Don't have to, but it does help the channel a little bit. All right, that's gonna do it. So wherever you guys are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. I'll see you in the next video.